I've said this all year. If LSU's defensive backs are flying around and they're playing like they should, the whole team feeds off of it. If those guys are dancing with the music, if they're having big hits, if they're talking a little trash, you know LSU's going to have some success. It really trickles down from the defensive backs. That's why we're DBU.
That's Absolutely.
Right. The best part about it, they're looking at the body of work. It's not who had the last loss. It's okay to lose early and late now. You don't have to have a timing. Used to, you had to have a timing of when you lost. They took a look at the Alabama-Ole Miss game, and they didn't rank Alabama ahead of Ole Miss. In years past, they would have. Alabama would have jumped Ole Miss even though they beat him in head-to-head. So the committee's getting it right so far. Chief has done a great job of moving people around. You take a look at this video. He goes from a 4-3 to a bear front. He puts his 3 technique, moves down to a 0. The 5 technique moves down to a 3. And we've talked about how much success LSU's had with their bear front. Look, Kendall Beckwith was playing man-possessed in this game. He blitzes the A-gap. It makes Bo Wallace have to rush. And like you said, Bo Wallace wasn't the right. He was all over the place. The crowd really got to him. He was getting rid of the ball way too quick, in my opinion. And then my favorite freshman, Jamal Adams, was right there to tip the ball. We had a chance at the interception. We couldn't do it. That's why those guys, defensive back, not receiver.
Easy.
Everybody knows that.
Easy.
I'll tell you, I got a full-out man crush on Kendall Beckwith and Jamal Adams, both of them. Look, this is the biggest play of the game. It was a huge third down. LSU's in a 5-man front. They wanted to stop the run. Beckwith actually blitzes the A-gap, but he is a smart enough football player. He stops. A lot of people just keep on running to the quarterback. He stops, sees the plays going outside, and puts one of the biggest hits I've ever seen on Walton, the running back, and stops him for the first down. Also, Rasco gets pressure from the 3 technique. They were putting defensive ends on the 3 technique all night, and that's tough. Kevin, you can talk about that. Inside lineman trying to block a defensive end.
And that's tough.
Well, nobody expected him to be the starter. Like you said, Coker was coming in from Florida State, and everybody thought he's going to be the guy. This guy played running back last year, but he's taking control of the offense. You look at the clip right here. He's throwing to T.J. Yeldon. Look, Yeldon runs a bad route. He's supposed to run an angle route. The receivers run the drag. He's supposed to run the angle route. He's supposed to fill the void right there and get the football. He gets manned up. So what Blake Sim does, he does what he does best. He improvises. He rolls out, buys time, and credit to Yeldon too. Look, he ran a bad route, but he made it into a great play. He just kind of runs a corner route off of what was supposed to be an angle route, catches the ball, and makes a touchdown. That's what LSU can't do. They can't let Blake Sims do stuff like this.
And when you look at Sims, and we'll look right now at some of his graphics so far, Jacob, when you look at his numbers, very impressive numbers that he's put up as a first-year starter at Alabama.
Absolutely. The one you pointed out, 65.5% completion percentage, that is amazing, especially when you're one receiver heavy, really. A lot of his completions are to Amari Cooper, and so people know what he's going to do, and it still really doesn't matter. He's completing the football.
Guys, when I see Blake Sims on one again.
Well, I think Les Miles' record after a loss kind of speaks for itself. I think it's 25-1. He really gets his teams ready to play. That's not going to be an issue of a hangover. I mean, you know Coach Miles. He's going to make it all about Arkansas, and I think they're going to have success this week. Look, any receiver knows when you run a fade route, you've got to line up at the top of that number. You have to not only give yourself room to run the route, you have to give your quarterback some kind of window to run the route. When I was in Denver, Peyton Manning used to say, never in the history of football has a pass been completed out of bounds. And he is exactly right. Look, you got to give yourself room. You got to know where you're at on the field at all times, freshman or not.